How would you like to sail the Hosanna to California first?
What do you think?
I think 4,000 miles is insane.
I'm not going anywhere without you. Come sail with me.
Bon voyage, lovers!
It's always a pleasure to have two of my favorite people, Sam Claflin, Shailene Woodley. Welcome to MTV. Good to see you guys.
Thank you.
I'm always happy to
be
be here.
Finally, the Divergent Hunger Games fanfic
That everyone's been asking
I've been
for.
writing for years has come to life.
Dun, 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 dun.
I've been making my own fan fictions at home, but yeah.
Right. So congratulations on the film, though. Adrift is a great piece of work. It's a love story. It is intense. It's a wild ride. I mean, literally.
Richard! It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna take care of you.
You're shooting on the ocean for 90% of this, from what I gather. Does anything bond actors together more than seeing each other like throw up within the first 24 hours of shooting?
Listen, the first day that we went out to sea together, we both got seasick. He puked. They said rolling. He leaned over, puked, wiped his mouth. Action, did the scene, cut. Almost again, I had to pee, and the bathrooms downstairs, the toilets were overflowing with puke. So I had to ask, and the boat was, I would have just hung off the back, but the boat was going so fast that it was impossible.
And the water was overly choppy.
I had to ask Sam and Balt, our director, to hold towels up so that I could pee on the deck of the boat and wash it away with water. So nothing quite
Mine's
Yeah,
pretty good.
get to know you.
binds
Yeah.
you
Every party I go
together.
to, hey guys.
Some bodily mishaps.
It did seem like you guys, because you guys both posted on social a lot from the set, and I noticed actually one photo that I wanted to bring up to show you guys your amazing bonding. Some context here. Is that your swimsuit?
Look at how good you look.
It really suits
You literally look like an Olympian, like ready to go.
What can I say? I look
Was this
great
also-
in the ladies' bathing suit. If I knew that in my teen years, I would have had a lot less stress. No, in honesty, I was basically, occasionally we'd be told to kind of wait on, whilst they were setting up the broken boat, we were sort of told to kind of get off, and I wanted to go for a swim because I was, I'm that kind of guy. Right?
And it's hot. You're, you're on a boat. And
So they said yes. I was like, do you have my swimsuit here? They went, oh yes. I said, do you have a swimsuit? And they said, yeah, there's a black one hanging up downstairs. And the only one I could see was this black lady's swimsuit. I was like, they've got to be joking. Well, I will one-up them,
Challenge accepted.
Jokes on them,
Yeah.
But actually, yeah, no, so and I
He
grew
had a great
accustomed to it.
and it suits you. It's all good.
still has it, by the way.
There you go. It's underneath this wonderful outfit today.
I can't help it.
We joked at the start about the respective franchises you both have been in. I'm curious, have you learned anything from those kind of different kind of experiences that you've applied to the choices you've made in the years since? What have you learned from the Divergent and Hunger Games experiences that influence the way you're carrying your career going forward?
I learned that, they were wonderful experiences because I learned a lot about a different side of acting that I had never thought of before, like green screen and working in big studios,
Right.
and it's so different than other experience I had had prior. But I also learned that sometimes when you have a movie that's that big and where you have so many, people who have such high stakes and there's a lot of money involved, it can be less creative.
Right.
And so I think a big thing for me moving forward is just I act because I just have the most fun doing it, and everything that comes along with this industry is, a luxury, and it's wonderful and it's beautiful, but that's not why I do it, and so I think if I'm going to spend time in my life on a film set, if I'm lucky enough to have the opportunity to be on a film set, I want to do everything I can to make sure that the process is collaborative and creative and fun for everyone involved, and I think that was one of my biggest takeaways.
Right, because you sign on for one film and you know the director, and then you don't know what it's going to look
Right.
like in 2 or 3 films, right?
And you're
that's a danger.
committed. And you want to be committed because you care about the character and you care about the fans of the books and the movies, but there's also an element that you're not in control of, and I think maybe that is, again, the control freak in me that just likes to be a little more in
That
control.
makes sense. For you, it was maybe a different circumstance because you had Francis kind of taking it through.
Yeah, we didn't know that initially when I signed up to it, but I think exactly the same lesson has been learned for me. I think for me, the one thing that I realised that, because my experience before Hunger Games was Pirates of the Caribbean,
Right.
Snow White and the Huntsman, Hunger Games, and I had never really experienced the kind of independent, smaller budget thing, and I've realised in doing that equally, like the collaborative team effort. But I think it was also I needed to grow in confidence and grow as an actor and as a person. And I've also like had kids since, and I feel like I'm a completely different man. I'd love to like have the opportunity to do a big budget type thing again, in the sense of knowing what I have behind me and knowing, I suppose, what I'm worth as an actor now. I know that I should be heard, and I think I was afraid, a little afraid. I was a deer in headlights. I mean, you know, my first film ever was out in Hawaii with Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz on a pirate ship. You know, I was like,
So you weren't raising your
what
hand
is
and being like, I
happening?
think it should go down this way, Johnny Depp.
No, I think my character should, you know,
Right.
but I remember I was offered the opportunity to sit down with the writers during Pirates, and I'll never forget it. I was overlooking like this beach in Kauai, which is, you know, stunning, and they said, so do you have any notes for us on the character? I went, no, it's wonderful. It's perfect. Every line, every word I say is perfect.
You guys did it.
You know, you've nailed it,
Yeah.
you know? Part of me just kind of goes, wow, I wish. I took it all so seriously at the same time, and I think actually I wish I just was able to allow myself the opportunity to have more fun during those experiences.
And part of it is,
I would agree with that.
and part of it is having a voice, which makes me think of this film, which is the first film that you've produced. I'm just curious, like how that evolved. Was that something that you were thinking about for a while? And is there an ambition to direct or produce more? Where are you at right now in that?
I think producing is so fun. I mean, this project kind of came about organically. I was an executive producer when I became attached as an actor, and then just through the process of filming and all, there was a lot of decisions that had to be made, and there weren't a lot of people on the ground to make those decisions. And Balt, our director, was a producer and also had a lot of other things that he was, you know, juggling. And yeah, kind of from start to finish, I've just been, I definitely inserted myself in a way that wasn't asked for, but I felt so passionate.
As a lead actor should. Like,
Right.
I think the qualities that she possesses are exactly what you should expect from a lead actor or actress. You know, I think there was an incredible generosity, genuine concern for everyone involved, no matter whether you were a fellow producer or, you know, a driver. Like literally everyone was cared for or made sure that they were looked after. I think that should be expected of a lead actor. But I think when you're so passionate and so attached to the story, and I'm taking your answer away from you, but I think for me, like I've never worked with someone or like looked up to someone as much as I think I have Shailene.
And that's fully reciprocated. I know
Look-
to
you
say
look
that
down
right
at me,
now.
Look down at me for the rest of the day.
Do you guys also share mutual love of pop culture sensibilities? As I noticed on Instagram, I think you were talking about RuPaul's Drag Race. It sounds like we have a fan here.
Yeah, that was my best friend had 2 concussions within 2 weeks of each other, and so our group of best friends kind of were on not babysitting duty, but just, you know, make sure he doesn't fall again duty. And we took turns
duty.
staying at his house for hours and hours and hours, and another friend and I were over there for many, many hours watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and that was the first time that I'd actually watched it and seen, you know, that many episodes in a row, because I had heard of it for many, many. I remember I worked with Molly Ringwald like 10 years ago, and she was a huge fan of RuPaul, and but I had never I just don't watch TV or stuff, so I just had never taken the time to watch it. But after watching it for so long, we felt inspired to, you know.
It was pretty magical makeup.
Yeah, my friend Izzy disappeared into the bathroom and came back 5 minutes later and had broken into our friend's makeup kit and just had done her face up. Yeah.
Amazing. As we wind down, you know, often we talk about your activism, and it's obviously as important to you as your acting. And we're living in crazy times, to say the least. And what strikes me is like there's so much to focus on, whether it is Time's Up or gun control or all these different movements. And it seems like you're able to kind of like devote yourself to a lot of these different causes. Like, do you find it overwhelming at times? And like, what would you say to young people that are kind of trying to figure out how to find their voice amidst,
How to help.
amidst so much that seems broken?
I feel like I've been thinking about that a lot. After Standing Rock, I really kind of went into this deep depression of just like, God, what do we do to how
Yeah.
where do we go from here? And and there's so much noise in the world, and there are so many causes to pay attention to and so many things to support, and financially, you know, whether it's financial support or using your actual hands and volunteering. At the end of the day, I feel like for me, what I've come to is, if you break it all down, it comes down to social and environmental justice, everything. And then really, it's just like, be a good human. That's it, because you fight fire with fire, you fight fire with anger, every way that we've been approaching, you know, we're so much about progressive action, I feel like, is from a defensive place. We're always defending against something and fighting back against something. And I'd like to think in my idealistic mind, but I don't have a better solution. So if anyone else does, I'd love to hear it. But I'd like to think that if we all take a little more time to actually be kinder and more compassionate and empathetic to those around us, even if we don't understand them, then maybe shift would actually occur.
Right.
Because that's sort of an offensive tactic. It's treating a human being as a human being instead of as an enemy. And recognizing that we're all confused and we're all broken and we do things differently, but that we have opinions about that are right or wrong. But at the end of the day, like, we're all struggling. Yeah. And I think just having that a little bit.
It's supposed to remain open-minded.
Yeah.
I think so many people are, and I think in my opinion, I think the world is getting so much better at being more open-minded and being kind of forward-thinking, and, you know, thinking about the future and thinking about the younger generation, and with, you know, the internet being what it is, everything's so accessible. So I think it's a matter of people finding their own voice and finding it out for themselves, or whatever it is that they believe in. But I think, truthfully, like, people just need to remain open-minded. I think people that aren't need to just open themselves up to kind of change and accept that change will inevitably happen.
Mm-hmm.
Did the arrest last year change tactics in terms of, that was obviously an unpleasant experience. No one wants to go through something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. I mean, like, it's easy to glorify political activism, but being arrested, I'm lucky that, like, the world knows who my name is, but the hundreds of other people who are still in jail or still fighting against this, you know, this company, they're still in lawsuits, and nobody knows their name. And so, but that's not just America, it happens everywhere. And I think, yeah, when it comes to finding your voice and all of that, just find what you're passionate about, but also, like, be gentle on yourself and know that if you are a kind, good human being, you are changing the world. Like, that changes the world.
We covered it all. We figured out how to change the world by being good human beings to start, and we also
a good human.
And we also sold a good movie.
What does that mean, even?
Well, don't be a jerk. Don't be an asshole. I guess that's a start, right?
Yeah.
But congratulations on Adrift. Opens this Friday. As I said, it's a great romance. It's quite an adventure, and it's always good to see you both. Thanks for coming by.
So good to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.